football and the Super Bowl, and turn our attention to bowling. We invite you to join us for an afternoon of bowling and fun at the Schwaben Bowling Alley on January 21st for Cub Bowl for CP. This 8-pin tap tournament features 3 games of bowling with terrific prizes, like a $450 gift certificate to Black Wolf Run, a lawnmower, Packer football, and music provided by the Mobile Music Maker. Register now at any Cub food store or CP Incorporated. Cub Bowl for CP, Sunday, January 21st. Make it happen.
When there is some big breaking news story going on, if you turn it to Channel 2, it's going to be here. We're going to have in-depth coverage. You're going to get all the facts that you need to know about the story. I just think you can count on that when you're on Channel 2.
Action 2 News. Coverage you can count on.
The Kagan Allergy Clinic is TV2's exclusive source of pollen and mold count information. For treatment of your family's allergy, sinus, and asthma symptoms, call the Kagan Allergy Clinic.
Sometimes we feel like talking, and sometimes not. Ameritech caller ID can help. Just watch.
Caller ID from Ameritech lets you answer now or call back later.
You want to talk to your Aunt Betty?
Not at this particular moment.
Call now and try Caller ID free for 30 days. Because as much as we love our Aunt Bettys, sometimes we just don't want to talk.
What a week.
Caller ID lets you decide when to take a call. And when you buy a caller ID display, it helps you return calls by remembering the names and numbers of your last 60 callers. If you call Ameritech, you can try caller ID service free for 30 days. It's just one of the ways Ameritech can make your life simpler, and it's free, if you call now.
Ameritech, your link to better communication.
Action 2 Sports means coverage you can count on.
From Green Bay, it's the Mike Holmgren Show. And now, here are your hosts, Coach Mike Holmgren and Kevin Hunt.
All right. Welcome to the Mike Holmgren Show. A standing ovation, Coach, and deservedly so. I appreciate you allowing me to stick with you a few more weeks than usual. Arguably the biggest Packer win in almost 3 decades.
Oh, Kevin, it was very, very special, and the players deserve, and my staff, they deserve all the credit. They played a real fine football team, and we won the football game in a hostile environment, and I couldn't have asked any more from that football team that day.
Boy, you come in with a plan. They play with reckless abandon and execute the plan to seemingly to perfection. It must make you feel pretty good as a coach.
Well, that's what you coach for. You coach to be in games like that. You play the game to be in games like that. And what I wanted the players to do and what I tried to emphasize during the week is be sure, know the plan. So when it comes time to play the game, you can just cut it loose and be free and just fly. And they did that.
Boy, the fans cut it loose. Let's take a look at some video from the airport when you guys returned. This was quite a scene. What did you think when you got off the plane?
Well, I had a feeling that there would be people there. But this was just absolutely incredible. It was, and the longer you walked, the closer things got to you, and it was really and they were very, very happy, and I was happy for them.
Coach, I was just kind of shocked by some of the stunned silence in that San Francisco crowd. Every time they started to get into the game, you guys seemed to knock them out with something.
Well, you know what? They're an explosive team, and you're never really, you're always nervous. At least I am. And we got off to a good start, and we got that turnover and scored. And but I was never. You're always playing, and you're playing the whole game. And at halftime, I told them the same thing. We got to do it now for 30 more minutes.
Well, you almost made a major error before the game even started by walking in the wrong locker room.
You know what? I got to the stadium, and obviously there were a lot of emotions going through my mind, and during the whole week. But I get there, and all the security guards and the ushers and those guys who were buddies of mine, the policemen, I'm talking to them, and I'm walking in, and I nearly walked right into the 49er locker room because I was so used to doing that. I've done that for so long.
Well, maybe from now you can sneak in and listen to the game plan, but you seem to have it down pretty good. Let's take a look at the highlights. Now, your first drive ends in a blocked field goal. It was a nice drive, though, but here's the next play.
Oh, this set the tone. Wayne gets the good hit on Walker, and then Craig picks the ball up, and there's George Kuntz. Doesn't even need a block, but he's running, and Craig scores.
Boy, you guys get the turnovers, and that can always be a key to any game. After the 49ers go 3 and out, Favre to Keith Jackson.
Well, Keith came up big in this game, and I was really happy for him. You know, he's come in and done a great job for us, and this was the game I needed him to play.
Boy, the drive goes on as Keith shows us there. Next play, Favre to Brooks for 20, and this was a nice pass.
Oh, a touch pass, you know, and shows a little of Brett's progress over the last couple of years. What a great touch he had on the ball.
And 3 plays later, Favre to the tight end, Keith Jackson.
Well, we had a little play pass, and we had both Chewy and Keith out there as possible receivers, and we get the touchdown.
Boy, you're up 14-0. You know Steve Young's explosive, and you almost hate to see when he breaks down and starts running because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, you know, I've often said this, that you can play great defense and have a play stopped, and then he will, through his movement, you know, get away and hurt you.
But Fred Strickland gets the tackle
Great
there.
sack by Fred.
Next, Packer drive, Favre to Chimura, you're up 21-0.
Well, we had a little play pass there, and again, our tight ends were big in this football game.
And, you know, one of the big things you guys did is you stuffed their running game. It just was non-existent.
Well, they've had a lot of injuries there, in all fairness to the 49ers, but they also have a lot of pride, so I knew that they would try and run the football, and we had to stop the run first. You know, if they can get running the football, now it's tough to stop anything.
Coach, I think everyone was a little surprised at the end of the first half when the 49ers didn't use the clock very well, did a running play. Did that really help you go into the locker room when you saw that happen?
Well, it did. You know, there was a chance. You know, anytime a team scores at the end of the first half, it's a little bit of a boost for them. So that was huge. And the fact that they used their timeouts and I knew they couldn't line up and run another play, I felt, oh, boy, I'm glad about that one.
All right, let's go in the second half. And I know a lot of Packer fans just sitting there going, okay, hold on now. Opening drive, and Simmons sacks Young.
Well, this is a big stunt inside. We got the good sack on him, but I think they come back on the next play and convert. So.
Yeah, they kept that drive alive. Young will sneak in for the 1-yard touchdown.
Well, you know, they did a nice job blocking us, knocking us out of there. We've been good against quarterback sneaks typically this season.
This was a lot of fun to watch this next play because Favre's going to drop back. He slips, but then gets the pass.
Yeah, no, that was a great effort. You know, he slipped, and actually, yeah.
That set up a field goal, made it 24-10. In the fourth quarter, another big play. Yurko strips Young. Darius Holland recovers.
No, this was a huge play. And again, turnovers make all the difference in games like this.
All right, first down on 4th and 1. We're going to see, there we go. I got to get that spike in. Favre's going to roll, and this sets up a field goal.
Well, you know, 4th down, and we were down there and thought we had to convert, and we had to, and we called a little play pass again, and Brett got it done.
And it was great to go home again as Mike Holmgren walks off the field victorious.
Yeah, that man right there we coached high school football together for about 10 years, and it was good to see him and a lot of my friends out there.
You know, Reggie played a lot more than I think some people might have anticipated. Can you tell me a little bit about any moments you shared after the game?
Well, you know, we were on the airplane coming home, and you know, he came up in a very quiet moment, said, you know, I've never been this far before. And it was really a very touching scene, and then I knew what he was doing, you know, and it was kind of like the Bud Light commercial. I said, no, Reggie, you can't get any more plays.
Coach, hey, you know, he does look stronger, Coach, and he looks better every week.
You know, he's feeling better, and you know, he'll play as much. Again, now it's kind of up to him. I think we're doing the right thing. I hope we're doing the right thing for him. I know he wants to play, and we need him to play a little bit, and you know, he's a great man.
All right, when we come back, some of the guys that don't get much airtime the special teams and the standout. Marcus Wilson joins us next. First, let's go to a 7-Up Packers quiz. Now, when did Mike Holmgren, what was his senior year in high school? Was it 1977, 1967, 1965, 63, or 1941?
The Mike Holmgren Show is brought to you by Clements, easily the best. By Pabst Genuine Draft, cold filtered beer. And by Farmers Insurance for superior service.
Easily the best. What does it mean? When shopping for your family, you want the best. Easily the best. What does it mean? Convenience, like Clement's ring bologna kebabs, which you can make in about 15 minutes. And Clement's tastes so good, it's the best for them and for you. Easily the best. What does it mean? Clement's. Value. Yeah.
What do you do if the taste is great, but the price isn't? Polish off a Pabst. Get real. Get Pabst. No light beer can stand up to it. The great taste that won the gold medal at the world's biggest beer festival. Pabst Genuine Draft Light. The best tasting light beer in America.
If you were to take every honor, every award, everything positive that's been said about the Toyota Camry, and lay them end to end, you'd probably ask yourself, why did I do that? Better to drive one yourself and come up with a few accolades of your own. The 1996 Camry, the gold standard from Toyota.
The Murphys will rob.
Really?
Yes, rob.
Don't let an energy-robbing furnace rip you off. Call your Carrier dealer. Only he has the world's most energy-efficient furnace. The Weathermaker system will save you up to 40% on your heating costs.
Do you think they'll ever recover?
Yep, up to 40% a year.
Call for pre-season savings from your Carrier dealer.
No matter what the weather, call the Inside Guys, MCM Air at Winneconne.
And we'll pack it. Let the Inside Guys at Billy's Incorporated help control the weather in your home.
Boy, the Packers had plenty of tough hits Saturday, and the special teams were no exception. Coverage standout Marcus Wilson is our guest today. Marcus, it's great to have you on the show. You know, every game, you usually get the first shot of the game. What's that feeling like? How pumped do you get at the start of each game?
Well, depending on, you know, whether it's kickoff or kickoff return, we go out with the intention to set the tone for the rest of the day, and we know we're looking for a big play right off the bat.
Well, let's just talk about, you made this prediction with your family. You thought this was going to happen anyway. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, the last 2 years we've been in the playoffs, and we've always gone to Dallas. And every year, you know, we lost to them both times, and so when I go home, you know, I always talk to my relatives, and I say, you know, if we would have had to play Frisco, we could beat them, you know, and I know we could beat them. They're like, oh, no, you guys can't win. And so, you know, we finally got a chance to play them, and we won.
You gonna call them and tell them the same thing about Dallas now?
No,
maybe make that prediction come true?
Yeah, well, I've been confident every year, every time we play Dallas, so I think we'll win.
You know, I've gone down there with you guys. I hate that place. I'm sick of the Texans and the stadium. And how about you guys? Are you sick of that place? You want to wipe them off this one game and move on?
You know, we would have liked to play home, but I think, you know, speaking for the rest of the guys on the team, if we feel that if we, you know, we went to Frisco and beat them, well, we beat San Francisco, and we went and beat them, and now, you know, if we go to Dallas and we beat them, you know, we can't be denied, and that's sending a message to the rest of the league because we went in both their home fields and, you know, defeated them and went to the Super Bowl.
Well, the reason everybody was laughing during the break, Coach said, don't call it Frisco to everyone. Coach, what's Marcus mean to you? I know you know that's sometimes ignored by some teams or even fans that don't really understand what special teams players can do for a team.
No, I mean, he means everything. He's on my, first of all, he's on my players committee, which I rely on a lot during the season. He's a very quiet man, but a great leader in his own way. He's a tough guy. And in special teams, sometimes it's a thankless job. You go down there and you're getting hit by everything but the kitchen sink. And I asked Marcus this year to really be the leader of that special teams. His teammates voted him the special teams, one of our special teams captains. And he has made plays all year. A couple of games when he was hurt, we weren't the same. And I need him on the field, and I'm happy to have him.
And Marcus, I think other teams recognize how important you are in the special teams. Do you ever feel like they're gunning for you to get him out of the play? Let one of the other guys do it?
I went through a stretch, like right in the beginning of the season, where every team we played, they like were doubling me, and then a lot of teams, when we watch film on them, they break their tendencies and their schemes. You know, we watch them and they do things a certain way all year, and then when we play them, it's different. You know, and I think sometimes they have, you know, set things up for me to get me out of the game.
What's your dream hit on one of those?
Well, I think I've gotten a few of them already since I've been here. So I guess
full speed, nobody touches you,
yeah.
you nail them.
Yeah.
You were quite a triple jumper and basketball player in high school. You even considered continuing the triple jump. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I finished second in New York State in the triple jump my senior year in high school, and that year I had jumped over 50 feet that year, and I think, you know, but because for football you have to sign in October, right. And I didn't really have a chance, and I didn't want to wait, you know, and see what was going to happen. So, but you know, maybe if I, you know, knew if I jumped 50 the year before, I think maybe I might have taken the track scholarship.
So basically, you could have jumped over all you guys on that route. Hey, thanks a lot, Marcus. Jump over those Cowboys and nail a few guys this weekend.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Great to have you on the show. All right, when we come back, I don't know whether the coach is going to like this. We're going to go into his past, to his former high school at Lincoln High. Look at that yearbook. First, we'll talk a little bit. There we go. We'll talk a lot more about that coming up next on the Mike Holmgren Show.
The Mike Holmgren Show is brought to you by 7-Up, Beyond Cola, by Carrier, the Inside Guys, and by Toyota. I love what you do for me.
Waiter, we're ready to order.
1 minute.
Rough crowd tonight.
Waiter!
Sometimes a strict menu of colas just doesn't cut it. That's the time to try a crisp, clean 7-Up.
Wow.
The Un-Cola. When you've got a taste for Un, there's only one.
Do you have a specialty this evening?
Well, yes, I do.
No light beer can stand up to it. The great taste that won the gold medal at the world's biggest beer festival. Pabst Genuine Draft Light, the best tasting light beer in America. What do you get when you strip away all the glitz, all the athletes, all the bikinis? You get a great beer at a great price. Pabst Genuine Draft, the genuine difference.
If you were to take every honor, every award, everything positive that's been said about the Toyota Camry, and lay them end to end, you'd probably ask yourself, why did I do that? Better to drive one yourself and come up with a few accolades of your own. The 1996 Camry, the gold standard from Toyota.
The savings are wall to wall. Right now at Big Sur Waterbeds, our beautiful oak wall groups are all specially priced. The Nordwinds oak wall is just $449. Add the comfort of a queen-size waterbed and it's $703. Choose this arched queen wall for $669. Add the waterbed and it's $923. The Big Seacoast wall is $866. With queen waterbed, it's $1120. Or the masterpiece oak wall is $1678. Add the king-size waterbed and it's $1932. Save on oak from wall to wall. Now at Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest.
Dreaming of summer fun but can't wait for summer? Don't wait. Round up the whole family and come on down to the WBAY RV and Camping Show at the Brown County Arena and Expo Center. See the latest in RVs and campers at the best preseason sale prices. Preview Wisconsin's best camping facilities and resorts. Enjoy more than 80 displays and informative seminars. And register to win a Coleman camper worth over $5,000. Catch the WBAY RV and Camping Show January 11th through the 14th. Now you can reach Channel 2 with the America Online ABC TV message board. Keyword ABC, then click on local stations. Channel 2, people you can count on.
All right, a little trip down memory lane for that Pack 7-Up Packers quiz. When did Mike Holmgren graduate from high school? There he is. The answer is C, 1965. Check out that yearbook picture. Is that the All-American boy or what? Boy, Mike Holmgren was Prep Athlete of the Year in 1965, but he was more than just a good football player. The Toyota Packer Insider. We take a trip down that memory lane to Lincoln High in San Francisco. Welcome to Abraham Lincoln High, Mustang country. The school hasn't changed that much since Mike Holmgren played here. Neither has the football field. But the Mustangs have never produced another player quite like Holmgren.
Mike set a lot of passing records. How good of a quarterback was he?
Well, he's the best, greatest high school quarterback ever to come out of San Francisco. He still holds all the passing records for the city of San Francisco. No one's even come close. Mike probably was the biggest guy on the team. And there were some big players, but Mike was 6'4", 220, and you know, he just stood out. He stood out like a sore thumb.
It was exciting to go to games, and instead of seeing people run up the middle and then run around the right side and run around the left side, now we really had somebody that could really pass the ball and gain yards at a good clip. And many of the games that he played in were shutout games simply because we scored so many points and the other team's offense couldn't get on the field that long.
He's a real quiet, good-hearted person. I mean, he'd give you the last dime he had in his pocket. But Mike can relax and have a good time. Don't kid yourself.
He may have known how to have a good time, but on the field and in the classroom, this kid was too good to be true. I just couldn't dig up any dirt on him.
Very clean cut. It was my first year at Lincoln High School, okay, and he was Mr. Popular. All right, student body president, 40 links, football player, basketball player, name it, and everybody knew who he was. I mean, he won elections hand down, you know, everybody wanted to go to the prom with him, okay, and actually he was very quiet. I think all the girls were after him, but I don't think he was after any of them.
Coach Holland would turn over in his grave because he didn't allow any dating, believe it or not. That was in the dark ages. Any dating during the football season, that's right. Now, I don't know if he would have made an exception for Mike, being the player that he was, of course.
He'd never defy Coach Holland, but once the football season was over, why, certainly he could go out on a date. Susan Roth asked him to her junior prom.
We had known each other since 9th grade, and when it was time for my junior prom, I asked him to go, and he accepted. He was just real down-to-earth. Nice to everybody. I think everybody liked Mike.
All right, what happened on the date? Tell us about the date.
Very uneventful. I just, you know, the big thing is that I'm only 5'2" and he's 6'5", and so, you know, I guess the biggest thing is I'm so much shorter than he that it's kind of awkward.
Oh, uneventful and awkward. You got to like that, Coach, for a memory of the prom. You haven't talked to her in a long time, have you?
No, no, I haven't. And you know what? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have brought Kathy and Emily.
More big discussion after the show. Come on up. Your name and a question for the coach.
Hi, Coach. I'm Nancy Ryan.
Hi, Nancy.
Congratulations on the game.
Thank you.
You made sure that the Gatorade container was empty at this game. Are you going to let your players douse you if you win the game against Dallas?
Yeah.
Win, everyone.
They can do whatever they can do whatever they want. This week, though, really, I went up to Jerry Perrins, our head of security, and I said, because after the last one, I caught I have a cold, you know, and I said, listen, any way you can kind of spread the word not to hit me with the water, you know, and so he was fighting players off because Charles Jordan wanted me bad.
Thanks a lot, Susan. Come on down.
Hi, Coach. I'm Gary from Appleton.
Hi, Gary.
Just first of all, I want to thank you for the season and everything from the fans. It's been great. It really has. But my question is, there seemed to be, on both sides, offense and defense, bumping and hitting and holding on the secondary as they were trying to run their routes. Did the refs just sort of let them play, or it just seemed like there was more of it yesterday, and they got away with more than what they usually did during the season?
I think during the playoffs, the officials will back off a little bit, as long as they're consistent in calling it on both sides. I thought in our first drive that both our receivers got held. Freeman got held. He caught the ball, but he got held. I thought our tight end got held pretty good. And I told the officials, and they said, okay, we'll watch it. But it was a physical game, and we knew it was going to be physical, and that's okay as long as they're calling it the same way on both teams.
Right. All right, thanks a lot, Gary. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Cowboys next on the Mike Holmgren Show.
The Mike Holmgren Show is brought to you by Red Baron Frozen Pizza. Bring home the Baron tonight. And by Waste Management. What business do we have saying we help the environment? That is our business.
What would you do to get your kids to read?
I've tried pleading. I've tried candy.
Food, TV.
It was heavy negotiations. We even had to have a contract.
Now you don't have to bargain or plead to get your kids to read. Just give them Sports Illustrated for Kids. Here's why.
It's exciting, so they're excited to read it.
He's always reading and always asking us questions.
We have found more blooming with reading.
Kids love everything from the puzzles and posters to the sports stars, mazes, and games.
I like Buzz Beamer a lot because he's a goof.
But it's more than just fun. It's an education.
This opens up avenues to all sorts of educational values.
Sportsmanship, self-esteem,
teamwork.
Sports Illustrated for Kids should be in every classroom.
Call now and use your credit card. Get a year's worth of Sports Illustrated for Kids for 4 monthly installments of $5.99. Your kids will love getting it in the mail with their name on it.
My son is reading now because of Sports Illustrated for Kids.
Give Sports Illustrated for Kids to your children or grandchildren today.
So we think reading is #1 in importance, and this is an easy way to start that process.
The pack is hot, and so are used car deals at Team Babe. The pack keeps winning, and we keep giving away big screen 27-inch color TVs with every used car. With only $300 down, get a 92 Sierra or a 91 Storm, only $169 a month. A 93 Sentra or a 92 Nissan truck, only $169 a month. A 94 Toyota truck or a 92 Voyager, only $169 a month. And watch the big game on your new big screen 27-inch stereo TV. So come on down today.
It's Getaway Month at Steenberg Homes. Get away from that cramped, cold apartment. Get away from high utility and rent payments and get into a spacious home of your own. From Steenberg Homes' largest inventory ever. The best-selling Rent Buster 3-bedroom home is just $188 per month. Used homes from $1,500. Hurry, mortgage rates are the lowest in years. Get away from the rent trap. Get to the housing leader. Steenberg Homes. Appleton, Fond du Lac, Manitowoc, Stevens Point, and Peshtigo.
Now you can get into tennis with no strings attached, because now when you subscribe to Tennis Magazine, we're going to give you the first issue of Tennis risk-free and send you a free carry-all bag.
When I pick up Tennis Magazine, I get excited that I'm going to learn something new that I can go out and apply on the court the very next day.
Subscribe for just $19.77 a year. Call now and get this carry-all bag and the first issue risk-free.
Order Tennis Magazine now. 800-238-7000.
All right, the Packers and Cowboys have a lot of playoff history. Of course, Dallas has eliminated the Packers from postseason the last 2 years, but in NFC championship games, called NFL championship games back then, Packers eliminated the Cowboys 2 straight seasons, including the Ice Bowl in 1967. The nice thing about your team, Coach, is every coach since Lombardi's had to live up to that 60s, but now you're creating some of your own history.
Well, Kevin, I hope so. I think in the 4 years we've been together, the team has taken another step or an additional step each year. And I told you before, and I've said it many times this season, this is a special group for a lot of reasons. And we're creating our own history, hopefully, and this championship game is going to be very, very important.
How did you, what was it like watching that Eagles-Cowboys game yesterday for you? Where'd you do it?
Well, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched bits and pieces. I had a lot of things I had to do at the office yesterday, and I was at work. And then Dallas got off. It looked like they were pretty much in control.
Yeah, let's
so
take a look at a little tape, Coach, because it seemed the Eagles maybe concentrated on getting Irvin out of the game, and other guys hurt him.
Well, you know, I think you have to do that, though. I don't question that strategy at all, because Michael Irvin is like Jerry Rice. I mean, you had better handle him. Emmitt Smith, you know, they have so many weapons. Dallas, when they're playing well, it's very difficult to defend that football team.
I know it's tough. The team has lost 5 straight in the last few years there, but is it a different feeling? You're a different team going into it than the one the Dallas Cowboys saw earlier in the season?
Well, I think we are, and I think hopefully we've learned from each of those losses. You know, we took them on the chin, and they beat us. I mean, they're a good football team. But this game is another game. It's a separate game. It's a separate thing. And our team is playing with a lot of confidence right now. We'll go down with the right attitude now. We'll just see if we're good enough.
Coach, quickly, I got about 20 seconds. Do you bring out everything in the bag of tricks for this one?
Well, yeah, there's no tomorrow. It's sudden death. And so, you know, you could see some real strange things happening on the field.
All right, that's what I like to see. Something strange. All right, it should be quite an exciting game. NFC Championship, and we'll see you next week on the Mike Holmgren Show after the Dallas game.
camera department. I bring things to you that are fun, people that are fun. You know, the news is hard business, and the weather is very important, serious business.
The last steps in the manufacture of paperboard occur in the finishing and shipping area. Here, paperboard finished and cut to the customer's specifications is weighed, labeled, and stored for shipment. In the shipping area, rolls or pallets of paperboard are loaded onto trucks or rail cars and sent to the customer for final in-use. To say the least, papermaking depends on sophisticated processes and machinery. But processes and machinery are only as good as the people who use them. Let's look at how the papermaking team achieves quality and production goals. In the stock preparation area, operators blend the right proportions of each kind of paper stock to yield the desired furnish for one or several sheet plies. Stock prep operators also closely monitor screening and cleaning operations. They adjust the degree of refining to produce furnishes that satisfy strength requirements, bond easily to each other, and drain water well. On the wet end, paperboard makers must ensure that equipment is ready for sheet formation. Using furnish from stock prep and the machinery at their disposal, they must regulate wet end operations to create a boxboard sheet within quality standards. They control wet end variables like stock, water, and chemical flow to individual vats to maintain weight, caliper, and strength specifications for each boxboard grade. They also control wet end processes such as pressing, again to guarantee the desired sheet characteristics. The cleanliness of wet end equipment such as cylinder wires and felts, vital to efficient papermaking, is also the responsibility of wet end operators. On the dry end, papermakers enhance product quality by carefully controlling drying and finishing equipment. Individual dryer sections are closely monitored to achieve just the right drying and ensure the desired moisture content at the reel. Operators make adjustments to the calendar stacks to impart the desired thickness and finish to the sheet. In many mills, dry-end team members apply coating to the sheet. This process is critical in the formation of a coated finish suitable for printing. Dry-end papermakers use the winder to cut parent reels into rolls that meet each customer's needs. They also prepare paper for shipment. Operators in the testing department share the responsibility of producing a quality product. Using test results, other members of the papermaking team adjust equipment and processes to maintain quality standards. Testing operators conduct weight tests to make sure each paper grade has the correct basis weight to satisfy customer demands. They also compare sheet caliper or thickness against quality standards to ensure that products meet specifications. Testing personnel check moisture content and brightness, sometimes with the help of a computer system. Various other tests are used to measure strength properties. In addition, testing personnel also inspect sheet samples for visual defects, an important service to customers who print on the finished paperboard products. Testing operators record their findings to help each mill maintain quality standards day after day. As you can see, paperboard manufacture depends largely on using the right equipment configured in the right way. More importantly, it depends on the concentrated efforts of a group of people, a team of paper makers, working in concert to produce the finest products possible. It is through this team effort that paperboard products can be made well and be made safely. Working together, we can all continue our tradition of excellence and commitment to quality.